Hey everybody, this is Bloomfield Horsemanship, and today we are working with Odin. Now, Odin came in with some spookiness, and he was untrusting of people, and he's very green in his training. So, he is here to learn some confidence and learn how to do all the maneuvers that we're going to need him to do throughout his life and riding. And because he was so fearful, I've been doing a lot of liberty work with him, and this gives me an accurate measurement of his fear level and where he is at as far as being comfortable and accepting of me doing whatever I need to do around him. Like here I am brushing him, and so if he will stand at liberty with everything that I need to do, then I know that he is trusting me. So I'm watching his facial expressions, his body movements, and by interpreting that sign language that the horse gives us, we can really understand where their boundaries at and tell them that we know where their boundaries at. And when a horse feels heard, then a horse is going to be more trusting and willing to work in a partnership. So here I am going to reward him for standing still in this spot while I'm brushing him. So now we are going to start working on picking up Odin's back feet. We've been working on this, and his back left foot seems to be the one that he has the most issues with, but he's getting much better. So we're going to do this a few times with each leg just to make sure we're consistent and continuously getting better here. So he was pulling his legs away, didn't really want them touched. He would move his butt away from you and just want to spin away. So we've been using positive reinforcement at liberty. I will hold his foot up for longer and longer periods of time, and I'm rewarding each little step from him just moving it, lifting it, and then letting me hold it. So here I am picking out his feet, and he's not afraid at all. He's standing very good and very quiet. So I click, I do my reinforcement indicator before I put the foot down while he is actively being in the position that I want him to be, which is with his foot up and letting me pick out his feet. So I'm just applying really steady, constant pressure on the back of his leg until he picks up the foot. And he's being really good. Here we are introducing the saddle. Odin was very spooky of the saddle. He didn't want anything to do with it. He would freeze up and be afraid and then just take off and run to the other side of the arena because he didn't want anything to do with it. He was really afraid about anything coming near him. So we are initiating the saddling process by having him touch both the saddle and the pad. And then when he touches the pad and then lets me be on his left side, so when he moves his head over, he's displaying his back basically at this point. And then I go and put the saddle pad on and I reward him. So here I think he was actually trying to get closer to me to get this pad on. I don't think he was trying to block me. So I come out in front again and see he's holding me in his left eye. I was trying to kind of see if he wanted to touch it, but he's telling me this whole time that he's just ready to have the saddle pad on. So here he's like, what are you doing? So he gives me that side, and then I finally catch on, and I put the pad on and reward him. He was sniffing the brushes there, but then he comes back and and he shows himself to be pretty comfortable. He's walking up and coming towards the pad. Here you can see where we are getting to a point where he really wants to participate in being saddled. So he's coming towards the pad inwards. He gave me a touch, and then see, he's letting me be on his left side there. So as soon as he gives me that side, then I know that I could go and approach. He even stepped towards me there to give me his back. And so I'm doing this multiple times because I really want to see the horse seeking this behavior. So see, again, he's letting me put this on his back. He is coming up close to me. He understands exactly what we're doing, and he gives consent. So now you'll see how enthusiastic he is about having the pad put on his back. He's following it, he's touching it, and he's getting his back closer to me and really excited about it being on his back. He's not flinching at all. He doesn't have a scared look in his eye. He knows exactly what we're doing, and he is willing. So sometimes I like to trot the horses around when they follow me. I feel like it kind of gets their adrenaline up and wakes them up a little bit, and they get a little bit more excited about training, getting that blood flow. So I always find that that kind of helps, and it's fun for the horse to be able to follow and move and be free. Right away, he comes up for the saddle. He's touching the saddle, and then look at that. He gives me his back. He barely even flinched, but he knew what was going on the whole time. I am so proud of this horse. That wasn't an easy thing for him to do before. It was pretty much impossible. He would just spin and run away. So this makes me so happy and proud of him. He's still a little leery of the cinch, so this is why I'm really going slow and doing things one step at a time, and then walking him away and giving him a release from the exercise that we're doing. So I just go really slowly, and I'm just watching his body language, and he's going to start moving around, so I just try to stick with them. So see, he's a little uncomfortable, so he's trying to tell me. So I stop, I bring him back forward where I want him, because I want to kind of enforce, like, I don't want him to step backwards. And then I'll just wait. He's trying to kind of move away again, but I'm going to reward him for standing still like a good boy. More trotting. This is something that's been really fun for him and giving him some confidence. He's very playful, so this is just really fun for him, and getting their blood moving while we're doing these kind of exercises really helps them be more enthusiastic and free, because we're getting that blood flow. A super important part of handling your horse is being able to have a really nice, good backup. So we're still doing work at Liberty, and we're practicing that back. I want him to go nice and straight and even in his steps and speed. So he paused a little bit, but I'm just going to keep encouraging him to do it properly and reward every time he makes a little bit of effort. Moving his shoulders around has been the biggest struggle for him because he was so shut down. It was really difficult to put any pressure on him to ask him to move over, because he would just freeze and not move at all, and you could just tell how afraid he was, and he was so confused. So we've been doing this kind of really loosely in a little bit of a different way than I usually do. He gets past me there, so I just try to stop him and back him up a little. But I'm having him take wider steps than I usually would. I usually ask a horse right away to just start pivoting off of the hind end and stepping over in front. But right now with him, pretty much any attempt that he makes over, kind of going forwards, is fine with me right now, because I just couldn't put the pressure on him. And so we're building it a little more slowly, and I really reward him when he does get that nice good step over. It's just not always as consistent as I'd like it to be at this point, but that's okay. And we have to make sure that we do everything on both sides of the horses both ways. He's still a little nervous about that cinch, so that's something that I came back to, that I wanted to keep practicing. So after we've done a couple of other things, then I'll go back to work on things that we need to work on more. And he was getting a little aggressive about switching sides on me there, and I don't want to be hit in the face, so I kind of kept my hand there and didn't let me push. I'm not really pushing on him, I'm just not letting him go all the way. And he's not fighting it hard, he just was reacting a little bit more than I wanted him to, and gave him a little more help to stop doing that behavior. And see, now he's doing really good. I'm rewarding him for letting me be on his side and pulling and tightening the cinch. Now I'm going to work on being able to walk all the way around him and away from him, and I want him to stand still. Essentially, I want him to ground tie at liberty. I'm just moving around him and doing different motions, and when he is standing still and calm and I see he's really paying attention, and then there he took a step, so I'll kind of just ignore that and keep doing what I'm doing. And then when I'm away from the horse, kind of towards the back, is where I usually will do my reinforcement indicator. I use a click. And then he gets the treat when I come up in front of him, as long as he stands still. So he doesn't move his feet, I do my reinforcement indicator and give him a treat. And this was kind of hard for him at first, because he would spin his hindquarters away a lot. He was, that seems to be something that was drilled into him a little bit more, is the yielding of the hindquarters. So that's why he would just start spinning, because I believe that's what he thought he had to do. So getting him to stand still and be able to relax and move around the horse is important. He's been learning to side up to the mounting block, and this is the first day he's done it completely at liberty. I started with the halter just to help him understand a little bit more, and so that he wouldn't just kind of walk away and be confused. And then once they get it on the halter, then I'll go to liberty, and it makes it so much easier for them. So here I'm trotting him again just to help get him excited, and I give him his little cue, and he puts himself right into place. That time it wasn't quite perfect, so we're gonna go up and try it again. And he knows that he didn't do it right. Right there, he turned himself to practice getting it right. There, see, he corrected himself. I didn't even really have to ask him to do that. He's that understanding and willing, and such a sweet, intuitive horse. See, haven't even asked him yet. He automatically goes and starts to put himself in place. He really understands, and he's excited to do this. I'm going to start leaning over the top of him because that was also something that he seemed to be really nervous of. He didn't want somebody to be on his back. He got over the saddle, but then the next step would be getting into the saddle, and he wasn't comfortable with that. So he's showing much less fear in his eyes, but you can still kind of see where he raises his head and seems to be a little bit worried. It's much better than it used to be. He would not tolerate it at all without spinning. So this is really great progress for him. And we are going to be stepping up in the saddle soon. So we're going to come back to some flag work. He knows to follow the flag and touch it with his nose. And by doing that, we've slowly gotten him comfortable with it being all over his body. Anything kind of flappy or making noise or moving too much really kind of spooked him. And so doing this at liberty has really given us an accurate measurement of where he is at as far as his fear level. If he doesn't want to leave, then we know he's going to be accepting and that fear is not there. So he does kind of try to block me here, and so I'm just slowly working my way over there. And this is the side that he seems to be a little bit more leery of. So when he goes to block me, I just kind of wait because he gives it that side back to me. And he's moving away, I'm trying to draw him with my hand, and he keeps blocking me. And so I'm just going to keep working on trying to get on that side and show him I'm not going to hurt him, and for him to trust me while being on this side of him. And I always treat away. I don't want to treat close to my body, except for certain things that I do with him. I do treat a little bit closer, but when I want him to stand straight in that neutral position, that's where I'm going to feed him. If I want his head straight, I'm going to feed his nose out where I want it to be. So now I'm going to try to add something a little new. I'm going to walk behind him. So I'm going to slowly kind of work my way back there. And I don't expect him to stay still right away, especially here. I think I did too much energy and scared him a little bit. So I stopped, asked him to touch it, and then I'll reward him. And so this time I'm going to go slower. Again, I'm going to tell him I'm going to move back towards your butt. I'm going to go a little bit more. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . And I scared him here too. Much less scary though. So I reward him for stopping. And now I'm just dragging the flag on the ground. I took it down way a few notches for him. Good. And he does pretty good right there standing. That was really nice. Now I'm going to walk around with it in the air, kind of making one step at a time. Good. Now I can walk around him and wave it, and he did really good with that. He's got it. So he really did not know how to lunge. He would run through the round pen, but as far as having him on a line, he had no idea what sending forward was, and he would just shut down. It was really hard to get him out of that frame of mind of that learned helplessness. So we've been really trying to focus on body language and having him respond off the body language, and instead of having so much or expecting so much pressure to be put on him that he shuts down. So it's a little messy still, but he's definitely getting it down, and I would much rather do it this way than to try to whip him and push him forward. I want this to be something that's more fun and relaxing, especially because he already thinks that he's going to be in trouble or something is going to happen to him. So I stay here, he kind of messes up, he stops, tries to go the other way. But it was really easy. I just used the rope to help push him forward, and then I just used my body language and a little bit of pressure from behind with the whip. I trot myself, and that kind of gets him excited and tells him to trot, because we've kind of worked on that before earlier in the video, getting him to follow and trot and be excited about it. So that helps translate over to being able to lunge him, and him not being afraid of me asking him to lunge or not being so confused he just freezes. So this is really good. We'll keep it in little parts. He's still very new in training, so we are shaping the behavior a little at a time. So sometimes I will make him go much longer and lots of circles, and then sometimes I will only ask him for a few, because I want to keep his confidence up and I don't want him to feel like I am pushing him too hard. We're going to stick to be interactive and not space those rewards out too far quite yet. So here in a second, you're going to see me kind of block him. He tends to switch eyes a lot and can be a little pushy, so to avoid getting clocked in the head, I try to just really not make a big deal of it, but I use my hand as a wall. If I have that energy there, I don't want him to come past it. So I can use my body language and reinforce that please don't cross over in front of me like that, especially so quickly. Thank you so much for sticking with us to the end of this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will put out more training videos, updates, and informational videos as we go. Also follow my Facebook at Angelica Bloomfield Horsemanship. Again, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching Odin's progress. He has made me very proud, and I just love the temperament on this horse. So he's going to be a real good one.